Hello, welcome to Good Morning Nintendo, where we come together every week to talk about video game news in the industry and what we've been playing. As always, I'm Dane, and I'm joined by my co-host.
Dominic?
And let's just get into it. So, Dominic, what have you been up to this week? Any cool games you've been playing?
I wouldn't say, just kidding. um, I finished, I'm playing Bravely Default 2 now. I've started a decent amount of that, but before I wanted to really dig into Bravely Default for the review. I wanted to finish a playthrough that I started. I started this playthrough. Okay, so actually, I wanted to finish some of the post game stuff for 3D World and Bowser's Fury. Did all that. Then I wanted to finish a playthrough of Twilight Princess that I started back in June. So I was just kind
Wow.
of casually playing through it, and I know I'm already extremely familiar with Twilight Princess, so it wasn't uh, like fresh or anything like that. So I finished Twilight Princess, and man, during the it's man, okay. So Twilight Princess had a pretty strong start, in my opinion. I think it's in my opinion. I think it starts really solid. I
Can I
think you do
sidetrack you
spend.
there?
I think I know what you're gonna say about the. Actually, yeah, say it. Say it.
I mean, most people complain about that game having a very slow start.
Those, yep, with okay, and I know with the goat wrangling, I know, and you are in the you are in um
The village
good
for a
grief.
bit.
Yeah, you are in the village for a bit, but I like it. And the reason why I like that is because there is like it's just a super calm starting, like you start right by the water, you're talking to good grief. You're talking to what's his face,
I should
just
know this. I feel
I
like
yeah,
I know
I
this off
should know
as
this
well.
too, and it's literally but you know who I'm talking about. You're talking
Yeah.
to him. Link's not even in his Hylian attire. He's just relaxing, and I'm like, man, this is good. Like, it's nice, peaceful life. And then obviously you have the kids that come up, and you're teaching them a little bit about swordsmanship and all. I like that. I liked it. It does drag on a bit, but it's kind of refreshing to me. Like, okay, Link just living a normal life. It's kind of like the kind of like a superhero film where it's just like I'm your average Joe, and then I got bit by you know what I mean?
Yeah, it kind of
Um,
establishes him like not being like a hero and everything.
yeah,
Whereas like with other games, it's like always just like almost thrusting you directly into action at the start of the game.
and it it does drag on. I will say that I can. It's sort of like the Kingdom Hearts 2 beginning in a way. It's like good grief, like how long do we do this? 3 hours? But after once the game really like takes off, I think after like the second done. No. Once you are done with the Zora Temple, that's when it really kind of synced in for me.
Yeah, that's when
Ugh,
you get your plot twist shift moment.
yeah, and man, okay. So most Zelda games, we all know there's A and B, right? You have the first part, and then you normally acquire something, whether it be the Master Sword, whether it be some big plot device, you acquire it, and then the second portion is like, oh wait, actually, and then the actually was the stupid Twilight Mirror, which broke, and you gotta go find. Okay, and it's so annoying because it's like you're there with Midna, and then she's just like, "Oh, okay, well, okay, that broke, so let's go find these." Right? Plot just stops, literally halts to a like sliver right there, and you're like, oh, "Okay, let's go get all of these," and then that's when it really kicked in. Like, man, I feel like I've done this before, and I feel like, and I'll say it, I feel like it was done so much better in Ocarina of Time, so much better, so much better. Like, I wasn't truly. I will say this with this playthrough of Twilight Princess, I just wanted it to be over. And normally, I'll take my time, I'll find heart pieces, things like that, some of the stamps, and I was like, no. I finished the game in 36 hours, and I was done,
I think
just done.
I think my biggest gripe with like the later half or like when you get into those later parts is after you do the Temple of Time dungeon and then you get out and like
Hate that
the
dungeon.
Dominion rod gets powered down and then you have to do like this whole
Oh
side
my
quest to like
gosh.
get the cannon and like get the rod powered back up and like
Oh,
all
and
this other stuff.
yeah, you have to freaking. Oh, we need to read this Hylian text, so you have to go to all these places and literally just move a statue, and just stand on top of it.
Yeah, but also moving that statue at each of those locations, there's a extra treasure chest that
Yeah,
moving
I
that's that
I
like so
the,
like what for me when every time I did that it was just like I made sure to get the other chest there. So it was just like always like a piece of heart or some more rupees or something.
rupees. I One thing, another bad thing about that stupid game is upgrading your wallet in that. Like I didn't even get the larger wallet, or I didn't even get the and I collected. I had like 15 pos. I didn't have enough, but I was like, no, I was just done. Also, I will say though, I do love the Sky Temple, or the Sky Temple. Good grief, um, dude, so awesome, so awesome. Love it. Favorite dungeon.
Yeah.
But yeah, that game just drags on. And I will say, Minda's great. I love Minda, and I love the ending when she breaks the mirror. Like you're just like, and you're like, oh man, I love that. And the fight with Ganon, I think is cool. That's an awesome Ganon fight. What is
Yeah.
your hot take on Twilight Princess? From I want to know start to finish.
I mean, like, it's not exactly a hot take. I don't think it's a hot take. Oh, it's just like as I've told you before, it's just like I think it's Ocarina 2.0. It's them after the backlash of Wind Waker and like everyone being like, "Oh, it's cartoony Zelda." They were just like, "Okay, we'll give you what we want," and they finally made good on that Space World demo and gave you your gritty, dark Zelda game. And I was just like, I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. I mean, like, originally played it on the Wii, so like
Ooh,
I had I mean, like it was just like on the Wii, it's just like you just shake the Wii remote and it does the thing. It doesn't. You don't have to be precise, so it
yeah, you don't
wasn't
have to
that bad.
move it.
I was excited about that, but like when it
Wow.
came out and they did the HD remaster, they're actually built off of the HD remaster is built off of the GameCube version, and
Yeah.
oh the GameCube and the
The
and
Wii.
the Wii version are mirrored of each other. So it
Yeah.
almost felt like a new game to me in a certain way because
That's
like my
interesting.
muscle memory was like, okay, well now I gotta go left here. But then I was just like, nope, wait, I gotta go the other way. So it's just like it was a really interesting thing that they did to try and fix like the dynamic of Link having the sword in the wrong hand for because most players are right-handed, so they flipped the whole thing just so that he would for the Wii version just so he would have the sword in his right hand. But it was interesting. It was I mean like it was cool. Like my favorite parts of that are the Lost Woods and getting to the Temple of Time and like because it's
The
just like that.
Lost Woods? You like the Lost Woods and Twilight Princess?
Well, I mean, like because like it's what I said. It's like it's Ocarina 2.0. Like it is.
Okay. I
It like
when
that
I will,
is
okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you
that
that.
whole segment like with the Skull Kid and like going through and like the whole thing of like finding the Temple of Time in ruins and like having to do like the like kind of the time mechanics there like oh that it was something like ethereal and otherworldly and like magical and it's just like I just loved it. I mean,
Well, okay, I'll give you that. I once I got there and I heard the music, I was smiling, and I did feel sort of a wave of nostalgia, but I just didn't like how it was handled with just tracking the Skull Kid down like that. Like it was just, I don't know, it was kind of annoying. But the ice what made it all what made it really nice is when you revisit it and come back and you hear the Temple of Time theme play, and you're like just standing in there, like that made it worth it for me. I was like, holy crap, am I really hearing this right now? And it's like, man, that made it worth it for me. And like you were saying about like kind of catering to the audience with this one, it's strange. It really is, because you have Wind Waker, which just Nintendo had underperformed, and people were like, wait, this isn't my Zelda, and they're like it just kind of like, it's like, hey, like obviously Wind Waker's love now, but like at the time it wasn't. And it's just like, so just like it just blows my mind how like people just won't try things, like won't like they are cemented into this formula because Wind Waker did not sell well. People like it just didn't meet Nintendo's expectations. People wanted their Zelda, and that wasn't it. So you have Wind Waker that did like 3 4 million copies, just didn't do well. And then they're like, okay, we'll give you Twilight Princess. And then you have Twilight Princess, which became the best-selling Zelda. Like, and it's just like, huh? Like, it's just Zelda. Like, it's just so one, two, three, and like, it sucks because like, well, maybe if some of those people would have played Wind Waker, they'd be like, well, I like experimenting. Like, let's do this again. But they didn't. So it was like, here's Twilight Princess, and then and then to make it all worse, we got Skyward Sword. uh, but yeah, what have you been playing this week?
So I played one of the new PS Plus games that came out this week called Maquette. It is this all it's an interesting game. Like it's a puzzle game, but like every time I cleared a puzzle, it was never oh, I get it now or something. It's just like it was just like it was always like looking at the world a slightly different way. So here's how it is. For a good majority of the game, you are
Wait, before you get into it, I need to ask, did you platinum it?
no, I haven't and I don't think I will. I tried to go like I tried to go back and get some achievements and it's just like one of the first like here's the thing, like every chapter has a speedrun time
Ah, okay.
attached to it. And like all the first like I tried doing the first one and like I don't know what I'm doing wrong because like I like it's just like you literally just have to there isn't like a run mechanic as far as I know. It's just like you have to get through like this first chapter which is just basically walking through some gardens in under 3 minutes. And like I just like powered my way through it without stopping to read any of the text. And I'm just like, okay, and it didn't pop. So I'm just like, I'm not sure if this trophy is bugged or if I'm just not moving quick enough. So, but it's in, it's it's interesting. All is because like so here's the thing like through most of it you have there's a dome with like four things go like four different sections outside of it going all to different little like all areas. But
Hmm.
inside the dome, there is a maquette or like a mock-up, like a small scale version of everything around you. So you let's say you're looking at the model. There's a cube. There is like a small cube on the model,
Okay.
but there is also a very large cube behind you. If you pick up that small cube on the model, you then and you put it somewhere else, that cube behind you also moves. But you can
What?
also take that cube, that small cube, and oh, you could walk out of the dome with where the mock-up is and put it out on like in the area, and then there'll be an even smaller cube back on the model. So it's just like it, and like you can and you're if you're standing under under it, oh, under the dome, looking at this model and like placing something there. You can look out behind you. You can look out under the dome, and you can see like the levels of this thing getting bigger and bigger. So like you see like out of the dome there's a big version of what you're about to place, but then like off in the distance you can see an even larger version of the thing behind it, and like at one point you jump off of the area that you're in into an even larger area. So it's just like it's playing with like the this dynamic scaling mechanic, but like every time that I figured out a puzzle or like did something, it was just like it was like I wasn't looking at the world right. Like I was just like because like I'm so used to like at one point there was like I had to get a key out of a door, but like you can only hold one item at a time. But like this door required me to hold an orb all in order to get through it. So, but what actually I needed to do was I needed to put down the orb, and I picked up the key, and I had to go to another window and push the key out the window, and it the key then falls into the larger version of the world. So you pick up the orb, you go all through the door and go back to the model, and you pick up the smaller version of the key all by the model, and you use that to unlock the door that you need to get through. So it's just like it's an interesting game. Like I played, like it took me 2 play sessions to get through, and like there's like 2 or 3 like chapters, and then there's a shift in the story, and it gets like I was like playing, got to the shift, and I was just like, oh wow, this is getting kind of scary, but like each of the puzzles just didn't really feel completely intuitive to me. I'm not sure if it's just like how like the type of the puzzles, or like, well, like, oh yeah, here's one from late in the game. Like you get this thing thinking like you need to scale a key to match a door, but so like you have like two different mock-ups of something, and then like a larger room, so you can move this key between these things to make it smaller or bigger. That's not what you have to do. There is in the big room there, you actually just have to get a very large key to use as a ramp to get up like onto another thing that isn't like well lit or anything. That it's not easily visible at all, and you go get another key from up there. It's just like, okay, so you've been training me this whole time to shift and like try and change all the sizes of things in order to get through somewhere, but this isn't about changing the sizes or anything to get through this door. This is about looking around the world and like finding some obscure thing that isn't well lit, isn't well signposted or anything to get. And I was just like, I felt a bit cheated with it.
I will say, um, I'm gonna download this.
I mean, it's
Like
free. It's
it
free this
seems like
month.
yeah,
It's just like,
yeah.
oh,
And
but
it's from what you've told me, it seems pretty interesting.
yeah,
It seems like it's
but
one of like a game I experienced like Inside or Limbo. Like I really want to try this out.
I mean, like the puzzles revolve around a story. So like each time you solve a puzzle, there'll be all like this short cutscene to all depicting the world, like depicting like a lot different story that's going on between two characters, and like it it doesn't really get interesting until that story shift. What I can tell you right now is it does. I don't think I ever encountered a soft lock in the game, because like with everything I did, like turns out I probably could have gone and gotten it, but like oh, it only saves at the start of each chapter. So I would recommend saving after you solve every puzzle, like doing a manual save at the end of each
Are you
puzzle.
serious?
Yeah, just in case like you need to reset and start over, cuz like there was one puzzle, I think it was like the end of chapter 2 or chapter 3, where they introduced, like it's just like the thing is like a lot of the times I got stumped was because they introduced a new mechanic or a new thing to do, and like I didn't realize like that's the thing that I had to do next. So it's just like like I had thrown a bunch of stuff trying to do one thing, or like all, and I could have, I thought I couldn't get to the stuff that I was supposed to be using, but if I had actually realized the mechanic that I needed, then I would have been able to get to the things. But it's just like always about like looking, it's just like trying to view the world slightly differently every time.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try this out. It seems like a good one of those games where like I mean I wouldn't say it's like frick like it came out on the PS3. I'm forgetting, but it had a beautiful soundtrack, and it just seems like a memorable game, like something you'll really like
I
after you're
don't
done with it. You're
know,
like,
cuz
okay,
like I don't feel like after completing the main story, I don't feel like a driving urge to go back to it. I recorded my footage of it just to be all, and I might do like a proper review on it. But it's interesting, and a lot of people like the term that they use is recursive, or recursive puzzle game is what I think it's is called, but it's a lot of people were like, "Oh, is this going to be The Witness?" And everyone that responded to that question is like, it was not The Witness. I haven't played The Witness. Witness sounds like it's something that sticks with you, based off of how people are reacting and talking about this other game. But all, and I think the studio behind Maquette is this might be their first game as well. So
Oh shoot. Well, they're also
I could be
aren't they
wrong about
also
that.
behind that that shooter card game that's coming to Switch? Forget the name of it, but it had the voice of Spike Spiegel. Oh, what's his name? Steve something.
Oh no, that's you're talking. Wait, are you talking about No, Annapurna is the publisher, not the developer.
Okay, okay, okay.
Annapurna is the publisher.
Okay. All right. Well,
It's a
I
different
definitely think I'm going to
studio.
download that. I definitely think I'm going to download that. Honestly, after what you told me,
Yeah,
because it
Annapurna
seems like it'll be a good time.
Annapurna Games, like they're like, as a publisher, like I've started to really enjoy them as a publisher, because every game that these publish kind of has revolves around like this thematic thing of like a relationship or things. This is like, it's stuff that just like always interests me, and I've enjoyed, like, I've at least enjoyed my time with with most Annapurna published games. All right.
Yeah, I definitely think I'm going to try it out,
All
and
right.
it's free, so can't beat it.
Yeah. So let's move on to some news then. So, first things first, we're going to talk about this new Nintendo Switch news. This comes
Yeah.
to us from, what's the byline again? Takashi Mochizuki and Soihi Kim. I am sorry if I butchered those names. Oh. Alright, so according So these are from Bloomberg. So Nintendo plans to unveil a model of its Switch gaming console equipped with a bigger Samsung OLED display this year, hoping the larger touchscreen can prop up demand in time for the holidays. People familiar with the plan said. Samsung Display Company will start mass production of 7-inch 720p resolution OLED panels as early as June, with an initial monthly target of just under a million units, said the people who asked not to be identified, discussing internal matters. The displays are slated for shipment to assemblers around July, the people said. Representatives for Nintendo and Samsung Display declined to comment. Like, Nintendo seeks to sustain Switch lineup. Yeah, it's just like, could have sworn that there was something about it processing better as well. Um, Oh yeah, the release of a more premium version of Nintendo Switch console with an OLED display and support for 4K graphics for the holiday 2021 selling season could drive the company's sales above consensus for the fiscal year ending March 2022. So it's just like, what you basically need to get out of it is like, apparently this model will be able to do some sort of 4K Ultra HD, and will be using an OLED screen. So,
Yeah. So essentially, what I'm familiar with the gentleman you're speaking to. So essentially, they are going to hopefully they stick with the same display type, but you're still going to have that 720p resolution. It's
no,
just
actually,
going to be
the current display is
in
a crystal. It's like a liquid crystal display or
okay,
something like
so
that.
it will be
So
changed.
the
That might not
OLED
be
is
good.
actually, I mean, from what I understand of whole screens, is actually a better
Oh
It's a
yeah,
better
that's right.
type.
That's right. It's going. It would transition to the OLED. That's right. But yeah, so it'd be 720, a bigger display, and a little bit of more, some more processing power. But I mean, I not. I don't expect like anything crazy like Breath of the Wild to run at like 60 frames per second or anything like that. And then in terms of like in the dock, you'll be able to play at up to 4K resolutions, and it depends on what approach that they take with that. It's Nintendo, so once again, don't think anything crazy. It's so there's two types. They can have like the checkerboard rendering I was telling you about, which is like a fake 4K. It's not truly native. Like the Xbox Series X, the Xbox One X, that's native 4K for the most part. Depending, it also depends on what developers optimize these things for. That's just what Nintendo's bringing to the table. Honestly, my take on this: don't expect to see anything until 2022. First things first, Nintendo still can't keep supply for the regular Switch. The regular Switch right now is still doing great. Like it's doing insanely well, and it's still selling like crazy. And in recent years with handhelds specifically, Nintendo has kind of taken the Apple approach where there's slight it are with the 3DS. How many 3DSs do we have? 5,000. So it seems like
Oh
they'll
yeah,
definitely do
yeah.
that approach. And here's the another thing is what actually is that was actually pretty interesting that happened. So Famitsu releases sales numbers, physical sales numbers for Japan every week, and the 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 PS5 has been doing terrible in Japan because they don't allocate a lot of units to Japan because it just doesn't. It's not selling a lot right now. But they're starting to, and it's so. Last week, I believe PS5 sold about 20,000 units, which is not good. This week, it sold 33,000 units. So they're definitely starting to allocate more there. So the demand is there, the supply is not. So even though the Switch is still doing well, it doesn't really need a refresh at the moment. But I would say early 20 March 2022 we'll probably see end of physical year. So we'll probably see that upgrade for sure. Um, but I would say think of going from the DS to the new Nintendo 3DS XL.
Actually, like the read I was getting off of this was not even that. Like so the screen is just like I mean try and show it here is like a lot of people were theorizing that it's just going to get rid of the
Like those
bezel,
bezel,
so it'll
yeah.
be like the same size unit, but the screen will go out a bit further. But like this reads almost to me like when we got the updated Switch back in late 2019, I
Oh,
think.
the revision, the
Yeah,
battery
the
revision.
revision. That's what this sounds like more to me. It doesn't even sound
Oof.
like a difference of a Switch to a Switch Pro the or the 3DS to the new 3DS. This sounds more
Well,
like
I'd hope.
this sounds more like they're just like gonna be like updating their current SKU almost.
I hope not, because they would really shoot that. Like they that I that would yeah. That Nintendo would be foolish to do that. And realistically, they could do it and it'd be fine. But if the PS5 and the Xbox Series X weren't out, there's got to be a level of marketing behind this because there was no marketing with the version 2.
Yeah,
They
but
just straight up
the
released it,
version
so they
2,
have to.
like I mean like we were I mean like I'm not sure what your opinion was, but like that was what everyone was talking about. It's just like it seemed like everyone on YouTube was going crazy for these
I
version
think
2 models. And like I
um
think like at the GameStop they even all like I think I saw a used thing and at one point it even said like Model 2 version or whatever on the used display. So it's just like
yeah, I saw that they referred to like the older one for like especially if you like traded in or something. It's the older model. But I think Nintendo would have to have because this is it has to if they just straight up release like a better iteration like the majority of people, especially like the casual audience, they're not gonna care or know the difference.
yeah, but
So
fans will flock
Nintendo's
to
got to
it and then
have.
they're man I don't know. I mean like
I
eh.
mean, they got to have some type of marketing to say like to whisper into the people's ear like this is the better version of what you wanted to buy. Just because it's new, everyone wants new, and they're gonna say, well, why would I buy? Even though the Switch is still doing great, why would I buy the Switch when I can play the PS5 or the Xbox Series X? But and then of course there's going to be people who are like, the Switch is so underpowered. So I mean, it's not gonna. I don't even think it's gonna come close to competing with PS5 or Xbox Series X. But it's just them introducing that um, something a little beefier. And from what I've read, the cost of this, it could go two ways. It could be released at $350, or it could be released at $299, and the regular Switch will get a price drop. So it'll be pretty interesting to see how that's handled. If the regular Switch gets a price drop, dude, that's good. Let's say the regular Switch is 250, dude. That is gonna sell like crazy. 250.
I just don't know. It's just like this, like just a larger screen size. Like it's not even a crazy large screen difference because like the Switch Lite is a 5.5 inch screen. The current Switch is 6.2
6.2.
inches, and like I think this report is supposed to be like
7.
7.1 or something like that. So it's just like it's barely an inch of difference, and I'm just like that doesn't excite me enough to go out and buy a
Vacation.
different Switch. It's just like I just
I think
stick with the one that I have now.
I think the big thing is going to be the better resolution with the dock. If they can get, even if they can get, because most Switch games don't even run at 1080. Like Mario Odyssey doesn't run at 1080. Breath of the Wild doesn't run at 1080. But if they can get something, if you can play Breath of the Wild at like 1440p, 30 frames per second, imagine how good that would look. Like I'm sold on it for that reason alone, to be honest. And an OLED display is a really nice display. So I mean, regardless, I'm gonna buy it. Whether I buy
I mean,
day one,
if they have a Zelda version and like I could actually get my hands on it,
I
I'd buy
honestly,
it. But
I'm
like
really
I
upset you brought up anything Zelda console related
because
because
like I think you went out like that first week and got the Switch 2.0 update.
hmm,
Like I only upgraded to the Switch 2.0 update when oh when the whatchamacallit came out, when the New Horizons one came out. And I think like I'd do the same thing again. It's just like I'll wait for a special edition or they add something new to this one that makes me actually really want to go out and buy it.
actually funny with too, because when I first got my Switch, I was primarily handheld. Like I played that thing in handheld religiously. It was like I only did.
Yeah.
And then when I upgraded, it's funny because the main reason of upgrading was because you have better battery life in handheld mode. I started playing like only in TV mode. So I was like, oh crap, why did I do that?
Yeah, when I
But yeah, I
upgraded
mean,
it, we got it turned into pandemic. So it's just like I was
oh
just like
yeah,
it was just like oh I think like I don't think I was wearing I'm not sure, I can't remember if I was wearing a mask to go pick up the Switch or not. I think it was
yeah,
like right
Animal
before we
Crossing
started
came
getting
out.
those mandates. Oh
Oh, and the Switch bundle came out before Animal Crossing. That's right. So maybe not.
yeah, it came out like the week before it, I think.
I remember I worked the release of Animal Crossing, and holy crap, that was a day. Good grief.
Yeah, I worked the
Uh,
afternoon on that. Like, I mean, I don't remember, but like it was just like it was like every 9 people were coming in for Animal Crossing, and then every 10th person was coming in for Doom Eternal. Let me
yeah, it
just
was
out
insane.
1 second, please, internet, hear my cries. Let's bring back the Doom Crossing energy from last year. I miss the
Oh
Doom
yeah,
Crossing memes.
that was a strange time. I saw some of those memes were pretty dark.
I
Like
didn't
there were
see
some I
anything
was like,
dark. Everything that I
I
saw
saw
was
some I saw some pretty gross dark ones, and I'm not gonna bring them up, but I was just like, that's gross. But that was a good time, man. I remember. I'm pretty sure Bethesda even like not said something about it too, which was really cool. That was awesome. That's right. And but no, wait, didn't Doom Eternal get pushed? Oh, that's right.
the Switch
It did
version
release
didn't
on
come out
which?
until
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, it came out like during the summer on the Switch.
I
But
still haven't played Doom Eternal yet.
yeah, I don't have any interest in it. But like, I love the friendship that like came up between the two fandoms last year. That just like that was like one of the highlights of 2020 for in my personal opinion.
I'm honestly, now that I think about it, I feel like Animal Crossing was so big last year. That just blows my mind. You remember like just the first like
The first
hype?
month
Like,
was
dude, that was
crazy.
infectious. It was like insane. I remember so I remember at Target, you remember like the My devices that we had?
Yeah.
So you could check sales numbers on that. You could check how many units Target was selling of something. So you could check our margins and all that stuff. But anyway, on the day of Animal Crossing's release, I was like, all right, let's check. Let's see how well it's targeted. This is, mind you, this is the day, and it was like 5 o'clock when I showed up. I think my shift was like 5 o'clock. Target had already sold at that. I don't know when it refreshes, or like how it works, but day of release when I checked it, they were at 84,000 copies. Like, and I remember getting the Switches, and I remember like people like, oh, the Switch was already really hard to find at that time, and I had so many guests just come up to me like, "Please, like, do you have one? Do you have the Switch? This and the fourth." And we had those notebooks. We had notebooks at Target if you got the game from there. People were like really obsessed with those notebooks. I had so many guests were like, "Do you guys have any of the notebooks? Do you guys have any of the notebooks?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, I can only give them to you if you want the game." But it was infectious, man. And I was like, you know what? I'll play it. And I remember playing it, and I really enjoyed like that first like month of having Animal Crossing was fun. It really was.
Yeah.
Now I barely touch it.
I mean, like the Mario update came out this week, so I've actually
I
picked
did.
it up and ordered the few things.
Well, I'm not
So
a time traveler, so I don't. I literally only order the five things and wait for the next day to order the other five.
yeah,
So
I'm
I'm
not in.
literally.
I do time travel, but like I'm not hyped enough to do the time traveling right now. So like I ordered stuff yesterday and I ordered stuff today. Oh, but and I'm gonna like wait until I get everything to go and mess around with it. But like that's the thing that I'm kind of upset about with this version is just like they don't have all the stuff like all the Easter eggs and references to all the other Nintendo games that were in the past ones. Like it was just like in the past ones you could get like R wings and you could get the Triforce and the Master Sword and all this stuff, and like now that stuff is all relegated to updates. I was just like, I would have loved to have had that stuff like in the base game.
I would too. I definitely remember when I first started playing Animal Crossing. I was like, "Where's all the like?" I remember you could have like Link's outfit, all this stuff. I was like, "Where's all this?" And it does seem like you're right. They're gonna kind of go the update route, but I get it. They're trying to kind of keep this train rolling with Animal Crossing, and that's a good way to do it. Introduce like updates like that, because honestly, the only time I do go back in Animal Crossing is for those updates. Like for instance, the last time I played Animal Crossing was literally for the Mario updates and just to order some of the clothes and some of the items I want. That's it. So, dude, dude,
Well,
what if they did the same thing they did for? What if they did something for Zelda's 35th?
me, I mean, I'm
Oh
expecting it.
man.
I mean, like a lot of the rumors are going around, or like
Create your
there's,
own Hyrule?
you know,
Dude.
do you know what I called my whatchamacallit? My island?
What did you call your island?
Farron Woods.
Oh, nice. You want to know what I called mine?
What?
Take a guess. You'll never guess it. You won't even come close.
It's not Neo Arcadia. I know that.
Not even
I feel like
close.
did I visit your island at one point? Oh, I have no idea, man.
All right. I'll give you a hint. It has something to do with Pokemon. You're gonna have to guess it. I'm just gonna give you hints until you guess it. Okay,
Pallet Town?
in the not video game related, anime related,
Yeah, nope,
anime.
nope, nope. You're
Okay,
not gonna know it.
movie related,
No,
early movies, first three movies.
I
It's
can't
the
remember anything but those movies off the top of my head.
it's the name of here. I'll pull it up for you.
Is it like one of the islands from like movie from the movie 2000? Is it
Yes.
Djibouti? Is that was
No.
that one of those islands are called?
Um, let me
I mean,
pull it
just
up.
tell me, man. We're spending too much time on this.
It's from the movie 2000. It is the first island. Shamatui.
Shamatui. Yeah, I definitely would never have gotten that.
And then like I don't think anyone because when I first made this, I wanted to have I started with the island setting where you kind of had like three independent islands, and I was going to do like Zapdos, Articuno, and Moltres, but that did not happen. So, but the
Yeah,
name's still there. Yeah,
that's a
that was
lot of
my.
energy to do that.
I was at the time. I really wanted to do that, and it just did. I honestly forgot about it after like a couple hours. I was playing. I was like, "Wait, why did I name my island that?" And I was like, "Oh, all right, well, it's stuck."
All right.
Man, I should have went with something like Fair and Woods. That would have been cool. I've seen crazy. I've seen Pallet Town be recreated. That looks incredibly authentic. I've seen a lot of stuff done in Animal Crossing that looks really cool though.
All right. Well, I think we should get move on to the next story. So another big thing that happened this week is Fortnite creator Epic Games is acquiring video game studio Mediatonic, the maker of smash hit Fall Guys, for an undisclosed sum. The company announced
Hmm.
on Tuesday. Then it gets into a bunch of all this stuff, but like ultimately, like
I'm so curious on how much they paid for that.
yeah, I
Maybe
mean
like
like
five.
the reason they did this is because like they obviously showed up with like a dump truck of money for this, but like I mean like I'm personally hoping like it's just Fall Guys kind of came out last September or August, I think, and like
Yeah.
was this huge hit, and then like it kind of fell off. But that's like because it hasn't gotten like a whole lot. Like it's gotten updates and it's gotten seasons, but like it isn't anything that's gotten people super excited about the seasons. Like it's like okay, you have like Stone Age stuff, or like you have like wit, or you have like some spooky stuff for Halloween and nights, but like that's not like the same brand recognition as things like what Fortnite has been doing with like all these licensed tie-ins to it. And I think I'm kind of excited to see what happens with Fall Guys, especially this summer as it comes to Switch and the Xbox. And like if working with Epic Games, they do manage to get the license things, and like I imagine someone from Epic has got to be like, hey, I can help you build your roadmap for this, and hopefully, with them being bought, they can focus more on making the content and keeping the game up to date and everything of that nature.
Yeah, I think this was a strategic business move. It was just like the only thing that I was confused about is last time I heard Fall Guys was kind of like, no pun intended, like falling off a bit in terms of popularity. Like people weren't
Well, yeah, that's
playing it as
because
much, or
like
like,
I mean
and then
like
Among Us struck and pretty much like took everything
no,
over.
Among Us was like in the summer earlier or around the same time. Well, but like the thing is like it's what I was saying. It's just like each new season, like it doesn't like bring anything crazy exciting. It doesn't have like that same hype that Fortnite has, where like it's just like okay, well this is gonna be the Avengers season, and you get like this is your battle pass, or like we're doing bounty hunters, and you get to be you get the Mandalorian if you get the battle pass. Whereas like you have these archetype characters that they give you each season, and it's just like it isn't that same brand recognition all for for your characters or skins where all in Fall Guys. So it'll be, and like part of it, like there was like a whole debacle with Fall Guys when it launched because its servers kept crashing, and it's just like hopefully this will like fix a lot of their issues, and I imagine like they'll get some sort of, if they like launch on Xbox and Switch this summer and they have like a killer season for that launch, and then like they continue to have killer seasons, I imagine that Fall Guys could come back around.
Um, I think I think it could, and I also think just with the capital from Epic Games, that the capital that Epic Games can like infuse into Fall Guys, they can definitely turn it into something bigger than what it was when at its height of popularity. I think they can even take it further than that, just because it's Epic Games, and they probably had to see something that they liked, or something that they know that they can capitalize on with um the development team. So but I don't know. I'm just not really into those to those live service games. But I'm curious to see what they do. Curious to see, because realistically, at the end of the day, it's like Amazon buying more. You know, they don't need to. They're all right. So it's like I'm just interested to see what they do with it. To be honest, and see what happens. And I've never even played Fall Guys. I don't know. I just don't. I've tried with like games like I don't know. It's just not for me. It's so hard for me to like sink my teeth into. I could see like couch co-op games like that I could do and have fun, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm not trying hard enough with those type of games, but I just can't. But I'm curious. It has piqued my interest. That's for sure.
But I knew there was an FAQ for all that popped up on Tuesday for this. All okay, here I think this might be it.
It's still releasing on those consoles too. I know that. I think that was the biggest thing I heard people talk about. Well, is it still gonna come to? And they're like, "Yep, pretty sure they got to honor those things."
Yeah, they got free to play, nothing to announce right now. How will
Dude,
this
dude,
affect
dude, dude,
game?
dude, 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 dude. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Frick. Oh, I'm so sorry. I just got a notification saying that the Skyward Sword Joy Cons were out for pre-order, and already gone. Frick, that's so annoying.
Oh, from which site?
Amazon.
Uh, all right. All right.
That
Game.
sucks.
Expand. Game content. Free to play. How will this affect the community? Why did we choose Epic? Because of money. All same games in the future. Okay. That's it. I could have sworn that there was more to the FAQ than that. Yeah, so at this current time that they're not going there isn't any news of going free to play. And that's something that like if that was like the big thing for when the Switch came comes out, like if it goes free to play, it's not like the $20 to pick it up. And is my light dying? Felt like I was going dimmer for some reason. Maybe the sun's just going down. Oh, but yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what comes out. I'll imagine that there's going to be some sort of big announcement when it launches on the Switch and Xbox. I imagine they're gonna be adding a whole lot more content or adding new things to it.
Yeah.
So
Or themes or something like that.
yeah,
Like a console specific theme in like uh um obviously something or like Mario or with Nintendo, but yeah, we'll have to see. I am interested though. I am interested.
right then. Um, I think. I don't want to talk about E3. Last event that just seems very. Oh wait, let's look into the Elden Ring leaks.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah.
let me just take a second to all
Elden Ring.
pull that up. I'm a bit interested with this
Did you
being
watch
li-
the leaked stuff? The
Oh
quote,
no,
well, not official.
that's right. It was a trailer that leaked.
I watched
Oh,
it. So apparently it came from an early build. So it came from a build that was from a year ago or a year into development. Apparently it's also internally been pushed back quite a bit due to COVID, and it may not come out this year in 2021. Um, Oof, man, from what I picked up from the leaked trailer, it seems to be, seems to be Demon's Souls, but with more of an emphasis on like narrative and RPG, which those games tend to lack. So dude, I would be hooked if you give me like a Demon Souls s combat experience with like a deeper narrative. Like, man, that would be awesome. I will say though, it's probably just the footage I saw because it looked grainy. You know how like it's your typical like shaky camera phone leaked
Yeah.
footage. It looked like it was like recorded off of like a Nokia or something from like the 80s. But it didn't look great from seeing it at that resolution. But there are some like I love the like you have to watch a trailer. It just it I don't know. I like it. I don't know. Um, but man, people want this game. Like Elden Ring is almost always talked about, and I'm pretty sure Microsoft has a presentation coming up, and someone from Microsoft literally tweeted like, "Don't expect to see it because you're not going to."
Yeah,
Um,
because I like there was a whole thing around it, like all being whatchamacall because like that's like this whole thing like Microsoft was like trying to get like the marketing rights for it or something like that all before. But like the thing is like right now like with Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, like all those games are like blowing up right now in my opinion. Like I
oh
keep
man,
hearing
yeah.
people just talk about Bloodborne, or Sekiro or all these Souls games. So it's like it's interesting like hearing how many people are just like ready for these and like have gone back and like even though these games are like years old, like people have gone back and given them a second try, and now that and like have actually really enjoyed playing them, and now everyone's just like, oh, I get these games now, and I wanna. And Elden Ring looks like it's gonna do like it's gonna give you a lot more story where or the story seems like the story will be a lot more transparent to you rather than like in most Souls games you have to dig for the story content in Souls games most of the time.
From what have you played any of the Souls games or Souls esque game?
So I tried playing Bloodborne once. I
Okay,
maybe got like half an hour into it before I was just like, nope, nope, ain't about
yeah,
this. Like
Bloodborne's
it's
pretty
like
rough
I mean like the
to
thing
start
is
with.
like I can get into a game like I can get into a game with dying as a mechanic. I think it's just like want to like feel like I'm actually like somewhat decent at the game before like it was like the first like large group. It was just, like I think if someone who has played Bloodborne is just like could probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's just like you get out of the clinic, you go down like you go out, and then there's like a campfire. There's a lantern, and then there's some stairs that lead down into the street where there's just like a huge amount of people there. And nah, I died. I was just like, nah, I don't think this is gonna jive with me. And also, I tried playing Jedi Fallen Order, and
Oh
like
man.
I got to like the second planet. Like you do like the whole thing where like you play as all Cal Cal
Cal Kestis, yep.
all on like that on that planet where you're taking everything apart, and then I got to the next planet where like you're going to like a temple or something, and there was like this big like
Lagoon. Yeah, I remember that one.
there
That
was
was the
like
first one.
yeah there was like this big giant animal thing, and it kind of beat me down real quick, and I was just like, this
What
isn't jiving with
difficulty?
me. And there was like a bunch of other different like there was a bunch of like I had just gotten my PS5, so like I was just like, there's other games I could play right now.
Man, I really enjoyed Fallen Order. So I started with the Souls games or Souls S game. My first was Neo that I played in 2017, and the the difficulty I don't they're just addictive. I mean, like it's the idea of like dying 5,000 times to one boss, but it's the okay, well, like I got this far that time. Now I'm a little further. 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 And there's just like the combat. It's like a game of chess to me. It's just so. It's like oh man. It's the literally the I would say to sum up a Souls S game. It is react, don't predict. Like that's just the entire game. Like even when I was playing Sekiro, um, like one of the first major bosses that I was going up against. I was just like, he's this dude on a huge horse that's so much bigger than you, like giant. I'm like, how am I supposed to take this thing down? I was like, are you kidding me? It was like one of those moments where you're like, okay, time to take it out, put it in the disc, and walk away. But I was like, okay, let's see. First time got obliterated. Second time got obliterated. Third time got obliterated. Fourth time, I got some damage, and I was like, okay, this is feasible. I can do this. And it's just that oh man, and it's honestly, it feels so good when you take those bosses down too, because you're like, oh, you feel like, man, you feel great. Like in um even in, I don't know. I was playing a little bit of I played about 10 hours of the Demon Souls remake on PS5, but I just it's hard for me to play my PS5 because there's so much good stuff on the Switch. So like I just stopped playing just
What are
because
you playing on the Switch? What's good on the Switch right now?
so much. I mean, man, I honestly, when I got my PS5, I had the sole intention to like start playing more of my PlayStation backlog, but like the Switch just has so much good stuff. Like,
We are on such different level. We are on such
well, like
different
my
sides of this right
genre of
now.
choice is is rooted on the Switch, so I always have something to play. Like, um, 3D World, really love 3D World, and then we had shoot, what did I play? Oh no, I played and platinumed Spider-Man, the remastered version. I enjoyed that so much so that I platinumed it. Um, I played a little bit of Miles Morales, but I think I decided I'd play the Spider-Man before I jumped into that. And then I was playing. What was I? Oh yeah, I was playing Demon Souls. That's when I moved over to the Switch to start playing. Man, I mean, there's just so. I mean, we have the Grandia 1 and 2, a bunch of the Final Fantasy games, and then the issue is with PS5, like most of the games, the real reason I own a PS5 on in a Sony system is just one, it's my console of choice between Sony and Microsoft, but two, it's really just for like bigger stuff from Square and Capcom. Honestly, like pretty much all my PS5 games are. We've got all the Resident Evil games, um, all the Final Fantasy games, uh, um, and maybe it. I think I got Shenmue, which I still want to play, and then we have the Dot Hack games, and then Horizon Zero Dawn. But it's tough. But I did tell myself this: once I finish Bravely Default 2 and finish my review, I am going to play something on my PS5. I just don't know what yet, but I will play something on my PS5. I might even dip my toes back into Persona 5. I'm not too sure, or it's going to be something. What it is, I don't know yet, but I don't know. Switch is just awesome, man. It's really my console of choice. It's tough.
Let's see
Like, I was literally just thinking that I want to replay Breath of the Wild.
what's installed here. All right, so let's have a look at what I have that's installed on my PlayStation right now. My cat. I don't think I'm gonna go back to that. I'm playing Thomas Was Alone. Um, I'm actually like so right now I'm trying to put together this video on Celeste, but in order to put that video together, I actually went back and I had it on Xbox because I got it all. It was a Games with Gold once, and then I had it. I originally played it on Switch, and I got the Switch physical copy. But in order, like, trying to do this video and play the game again and like capture footage, I actually got it on PS4 as well. I got the PS4 version as well. So like, I'm actually playing around with that a bit. But also got Yakuza. I don't like
It was like a Dragon, the PS5 version, I'm pretty sure came out this week.
Yeah, on the second. Oh, yeah, but like I really want to give Yakuza a try. Like that's another game like Bloodborne, like the Souls like games and the Yakuza games. I just keep hearing people talk about those, and Yakuza is really the one that's really been speaking to me. All I have Infamous Second Son and First Light downloaded as well. I really would like to get back to those and finish and like actually platinum them, but I'm not
You
at
know
this
what's
point. I'm not sure I'm actually going to be able to do that. And
you know what's
then
funny? I was literally um So lately, this has been my approach. Let me know your thoughts on this. So my approach now that I want to do with is if I'm going to, because what I normally do is I'll beat a game, jump to another game, beat a game, jump to another game, beat a game, jump to another game. But I think from now I'm just going to go for the series. Like I'll start with a series, play a couple games in that series, not the entire series, but kind of like chip away at like I want to take like all like this, I want to take all the I want to play all the Yakuza games. So like that's what we're gonna focus on, like all the Yakuza games. And earlier today, I was thinking I want to play all the Yakuza games. So I was like, okay, well, where would I start? I definitely want to start with some of the earlier ones, but I just prefer physical, and they're just kind of hard to track down right now. But Yakuza is just one of those series where it's like, man, I really want to play those games because I feel like there's just so much charm in those games. They're like your underdog games for I don't know. It's just like, and I always hear I've never heard a bad thing about those games, not once. And I don't know. I really want to try them out, but it sucks because like, okay, I could play all of those, or I could play every game in the Resident Evil series. So it's like, ooh, how do I guess which one do you want to play more? And then I know the Yakuza games are really long, so it's just like, oh gosh. But I do really want to play the Yakuza games.
Yeah, it's just like I got Yakuza Kiwami. Like I think I picked up Zero for like $5. I got Kiwami, which is the remake of one, all on PS Plus. I could have
Yakuza.
sworn I had Kiwami too as well for some reason. Oh, but at some point it also like I like to get back to playing what you call. I want to give Persona 5 more of a
Oh yeah, weren't you
chance.
playing that? Weren't you playing
Yeah, I got
that
through
for
the
a
second.
bit? I remember
I got through the second
Palace.
palace and like I fell off of it. It's just like oh I don't know, and like I want to go back and play Concrete Genie as well.
I
Uh,
do have that downloaded. That's right.
Yeah,
I did download that.
but there's so much that I want to play. Like there's years of like great games that like just never came to Switch or
You're
like
telling me.
and like also like I mean like my trophy hunting urge has like eased a little bit since like
Good.
I only have one other person to surpass on my friends list and
Be the
all
best.
and like it's just like I'm not like gonna go and buy like five easy all platinums just to surpass them. Like I imagine like once I get into like I'm at 222 right now. I imagine once I get into like the 30s that itch might come back. But like I kind of like just because of how much I love Celeste, I would really kind of love to get the platinum on that. But it's just like so much of like the extra stuff in Celeste is just like I love the story. I love like the main beats of it, but it's just like it's like going on and doing everything else is like if you enjoy that hard platforming that is core to the game. I mean, you can turn on the assist mode and all it still keeps all trophies available, but it's like at that point I feel like I'm cheating. If I just turn on invincibility and just run through every level, it's just like do I really earn it at that point?
Wait, are they would they even let you get the trophy?
Yeah.
Because I know some games it's you can't even if you have like I
No.
know in Final Fantasy. Oh wow, that's
Yeah, you
interesting.
you can you can turn on the assist mode and from what I've heard, like I could be wrong, like you can still get the trophies.
With PS5 or with Sony, like I'm with you on that. There's so many because I've growing up, I was always like I didn't branch out to a lot of different genres or series. So I always knew about them, but just didn't because money and just it was hard. It was really hard for me to try new things as a kid. And
Well, for me, it's just
now I
like we were on one platform. It's just like I would have been a Jack kid. I probably would have been a Ratchet kid. If I
oh
was,
Ratchet and Clank.
yeah. I mean, like it's just like it. Going
Oh, that
back to
game's free. That game is free right now. Literally, a digital
yeah,
copy is free. I gotta download that. Holy
for
crap!
the, what I mean, like it's on your PS. It's on the PS Plus collection anyway for the
But
PS5. But they're
yeah,
also
it's part
doing
of
the
Sony's like
play at
giveaway
home.
thing.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Play at Home initiative. I'm
Oh
I'm
shoot.
I just want to see what other games that they bring to the Play at Home initiative. See if because that'd be cool.
I
Okay.
mean, last year they gave away Uncharted, the Uncharted collection. Um, they gave away that. They gave away two games. They gave away that, and they gave away oh, what the frick? Uh, I will bring it up. They gave away.
Oh, did you know that Kina got a price on it? Kina,
Whoa! It did. How much?
it's 39.99, but there's a deluxe
Heck yeah!
digital edition
Ah, good.
for 49.99.
If there's a deluxe digital, I'll get that because I'm that game looks great.
I just told you that's deluxe digital.
Did they have a? I mean, physical. They gave away. Man, where is it? What the heck?
I also kind of want to try Death Stranding. I don't have it, but it's
Journey. Journey. They gave away Journey, which I heard is phenomenal, and they gave away the Nathan Drake, the Uncharted collection.
I think
Death Stranding, I really want to play, but Death Stranding is a game. It's like Persona 5. Like you're in for it. Strap down, grab a cup of coffee, whatever your drink
yeah, it's
of
just
choice
like
is, and chill and play it.
I don't like everything I've heard about Kojima. Like it's just like it's like you're either all in for Kojima or you're not a fan. And I'm just like I'm not sure. Like the whole reason, like if Death Stranding came out at any other time, I don't think I'd ever want to play it. But just because of like it's about America, like it's so filled with metaphors of like connecting people together, and it's just like it's in the time that we're in. It's just like that just seems like an interesting story that I would like to play right now, but I don't know.
That's
It's
the I okay. Um, I was working at GameStop when that came out, and I checked it out for 3 days, and that game's awesome. Like I don't care what anyone says. The couple hours I played that because I only had it for like 3 or 4 days, but it was, dude, the atmosphere in that game is like is insane. Like it's, oh man, that like I really like that. It sucked when I had
and
to give
there's
it up because
even
I was like,
there's even all Horizon Zero Dawn crossover in it.
are you serious?
Yeah, like so it crosses over into Horizon Zero Dawn as well. Like there are hidden objects in Horizon Zero Dawn that are like all like ancient vessel or like ancient tags. Like there is a doll, like I think it's called like it's I forget what it was. It's just like our abandoned objects. It's just like there's like dog tags, a doll or something, and something else in all Horizon Zero Dawn that you can like collect and trade in for like this like this bundle of stuff. But it's just like it's all objects from Death Stranding, and then there's a quest in Death Stranding where like there's like these big like projections in the air or like holograms in the air of like the tall necks from Horizon Zero Dawn.
I did not know that, honestly. I'm actually that's actually pretty, did you see um the Death Stranding Easter egg in Astro's playroom?
Did I? I think I did.
Dude,
Can't
I
remember
want
exactly
more.
what it was.
I would love more of Astro's Playroom, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh
I
man,
mean,
that's actually
that's
no, that's the first game. That's what I played when I got my PS5. I platinumed that because I have freaking loved that, dude. That
yeah,
was a good game.
but like if I was like did we talk about the restructuring of Japan Studio last week?
We did not. But I don't know if I want to. It's kind of sad, but but yeah, let's talk about it. Let's
I
talk
mean,
about that a bit, honestly.
they restructured all they restructured all Japan Studio and like refocused it around Team Asobi, which are the developers behind Astrobot and like Astro's Playroom and everything like that. And it's just like I don't like for me it's not personally too sad because like I mean like it sounds if you were a PlayStation person like growing up and like you've been in the ecosystem for a while, it seems like a sad thing because like it's like it seems like Japan Studio makes all these weird sort of like all like what's the word I'm looking for?
They're just kind of quirky,
Yeah,
like
quirky, that's the
unique
word I was looking for.
ideas.
Quirky games, and they assist on a whole lot of other stuff. So it's like it seems kind of sad to me because like you're getting rid of like you're restructuring the studio that so many people have fond memories of, but it also seems like going back and looking at what they've been working on recently, it's they've mostly been working like helping on other projects rather than making their own stuff. So hopefully restructuring it and like everything, the people that were working there will go off and like form their own studios or join other studios, and they'll be able to make quirky games rather than assisting on other things.
I hope so because, dude, they brought so much cool stuff to the table, like Ape Escape. Um, dude, so I'm pretty sure they were behind either. No, Sony might have just published Oh my gosh, Legend of Dragoon. Um, but dude, they had great ideas. And some of the ideas were just a little too quirky. It just would not catch on to the masses, and oh no, man. It was like you know how Miyamoto says um he said this before where they make some games they make some games where they know that it's not going to make money, but essentially like people will be happy, people will buy it. And of course, he also said that some games we make sell so much to where it's okay. And that was kind of like that was like the how I felt with the PlayStation Japan Studio because that was kind of sort of their realm. Like they may not be like the greatest games or like the heavy hitters, but they just had so much charm to them, and it just kind of sucks to see Sony finally kind of unofficially, I guess, pull the plug on it. Be like, yeah, man, we it sucks because I feel like Sony's starting to become this like this like triple A machine. Like, give me one solid game that's exclusive to PlayStation that's not a third person action adventure game.
I don't think I got one.
Yes,
But
yeah.
like yet again, I've not like haven't been like too ingrained in the ecosystem, but like
With PS4, so we're only talking PS4.
I don't know. Oh, I mean, uh, isn't I mean is what's Death Stranding classified as? Because I could have sworn like
Uh,
more of the
Action
action around.
adventure.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is. Yeah,
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 but it's on
no,
PC. Oh shoot, Horizon Zero Dawn's on PC too.
yeah, but it's still play like console exclusive. Like on consoles, it's PlayStation exclusive.
You know what I would say honestly, and this is crazy to think, but I'm gonna say it. My favorite game from Sony as of recently is Astro's Playroom. Literally, that's the level of like charm and uniqueness those games bring, and like you've played it, right? The game's awesome.
Yeah,
There's so much to enjoy about that. And it sucks because it's just like when you go to like look for a new game on PlayStation, like the big heavy hitters, it's just like pick your character almost. It's like what world do you want to be in? To be fair though, they're great games. They tell good stories, and they look phenomenal. So it's hard to really like to ignore them because they're super good at what they do. Like, there was a video I was watching of The Last of Us, and I was just like, man, this game just looks so good. And I bet the story that game tries to tell is probably phenomenal. But I don't know, man. It's just hard. It's hard to really sink my teeth. How do you feel about that? Like that feeling of like almost fatigue with those games? Because I know lately you've been playing way more PlayStation than I have.
I mean, I love action adventure games. This is like I'm not like I don't
So
feel any
would you
fatigue with
say
them.
that's your genre of choice?
Yeah, I think we covered that once before. It's just like
Oh yeah, 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 that's right.
oh yeah, it's just like I love action adventure games. It's just like and there's something like I'm happy that they keep making these action adventure games. Like I loved God of the new God of War because like that's an action adventure game, whereas like it was very more where it used to be like kind of this more arcadey like all beat 'em up or like all about like comboing and stuff, and it was like it was that wasn't something that I would have played at all. And but like the new style that they've gone for, where it's like more narrative focused, and I mean, like I just really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to Ragnarok. But like, I'm definitely more looking forward to Horizon Zero Dawn. Well, Horizon Forbidden West. All right,
Yeah.
all right. Is there?
I
I think actually we're at an hour and 15 minutes, so I think
okay.
it's a good time to cut it short for today. Is there anything that you want to talk about, promote before we end the show today?
I'm kind of fixated on Sony now. I was going through like some of the games too. And I'm kind of like, ooh, I don't know. I kind of want to play one, but I told myself I'll play something after Bravely Default. Yeah, not much. I think I'm gonna have probably a video or two out, maybe one today, maybe one in the coming weeks. But yeah, not much. What about you?
Uh, so I'm currently focusing on trying to get this video for Celeste out, and that's kind of like a, it's not gonna be a review. It's a more personal story about like how I connected to that game at the time that I originally played it, and I kind of tossed myself a curveball because I had talked about this story before with you before all
Yeah.
everything, and yesterday those emotions kind of welled up in me while I was trying to record audio, and I kind of had to walk away from it for the day. So I recorded more audio for it today, and I'm trying to get it all edited, but I don't think it's just like kind of hard listening to it and everything right now, and I want it to actually be a good video. So I'm trying to hope that should like hopefully this week it'll be out, but also it's my birthday this week, so I got a bunch of stuff going on this weekend with my family and everything. So I'm not sure it'll actually be up this weekend. So that's where I'm at with that.
All right. Well, you
Yeah.
know where to find us. We'll be here, same place, same time. Well, same place. I don't know about the time, but yeah.
All right. Well, until then, you can check us out on Instagram or on Twitter as Tanuki Tales, and have a nice week.